Welcome everyone to the Coptic Fellowship Awaken the Master Within workshop series. I am Steve Krajcik, Director of the Coptic Fellowship, and I'll be your host tonight. Today's presenter is Tina Zion, and we're just very excited to have her. She's going to be talking about You Are Truly Intuitive. Learn and trust the 18 ways the universe is talking to you. Tina is an internationally acclaimed instructor in healing yourself and others, medical intuition, mediumship, and Reiki. She is a fourth-generation intuitive medium, registered nurse, mental health counselor, and author of 6 books. All of Tina's books sell in over 50 countries and all hold 5-star ratings. She teaches medical intuition and mediumship in Australia, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Europe, Canada, Mexico, and throughout the U.S. Tina now focuses on teaching medical intuition and mediumship healing all around the globe. Tina's website is www.tinazion.com. So tonight, Tina's going to workshop is she's going to show us that everyone is truly intuitive, to learn how to quickly notice your abilities and to trust them. A question-answer session will be offered for you to ask your personal questions. People are often told in their youth that they did not see angels or deceased, that they are just making things up in their wild imagination. And as we grow older, we forget how intuitive we used to be or become deeply afraid of the non-physical. Tonight we'll learn the 18 ways that the universe is communicating with you and allow yourself to receive a foundational truth of intuition and honor your natural abilities to be wonderfully intuitive. But before I start out, I'd like to read the mission statement of the Coptic Fellowship, as we always do before we start. The Coptic Fellowship is an organization devoted to serving humanity to become more enlightened and better prepared to lead full, harmonious, and progressive lives through the teachings of our founder, Master Hamed Bey, other masters, and each other. We support all lightworkers and serve their needs to become better at what they do, to reach larger audiences so they can serve more people. We are a growing network of lightworkers supporting each other through hosting classes, workshops, seminars, conferences, and retreats intended to bring people together in the spirit of fellowship and service, as well as through cooperative marketing efforts. The Coptic Fellowship is not a religion, but a philosophical way of life, empowering each person on their individual path to the one consciousness. And before we get started, I'd also like to cover a few upcoming events we have. Every Tuesday, we have the Coptic Experience, which is a free evening. And this coming Tuesday, we have Carl Franklin. His topic is going to be on becoming Christ consciousness. Then on the 23rd, which is the next Thursday, we have a Tibetan bowl master, Mark Handler, who was in the conference, and he's going to be doing a workshop on the breath of life. And Mark is just an amazing guy. If you can make it next Thursday, it's amazing. He's great. And then the following Tuesday, we have a master study group, and we will be studying Jim Campbell, who was a Coptic who has transitioned, and the title is I Am. Then following Thursday, we have Marilyn Harper, The Quantum Heart, Unlocking Your Innate Power to Heal. And Marilyn, I'm sure many of you saw her at the conference, she's just a delightful person and channel. And then May 5th, we have speaker Ortrin Franklin, and her title is going to be Celebration of the Divine Feminine. And then that week, Mark Handler, the Tibetan bowl master, will be doing another workshop called Mantra Magic, Exploring the Sound of Consciousness. And so there's a lot of great events and workshops coming up for folks. And you can find out more about all these at our website at thecopticcenter.org. And there you'll have also lessons and downloadable CDs that you could purchase from Master Hamed Bey and other great masters. We have a YouTube channel that you could access through our website, where we have the replays of our Tuesday night talks and videos. And also for everyone here, tonight's workshop will be available to anyone who's here through the CopticCenter.org. And you can, if you want to come back and review the workshop and all the great things that Tina's going to share with us tonight. So with that, I will turn the floor over to Tina with You Are Truly Intuitive. Learn and trust the 18 ways the universe is talking to you. So with that, Tina, welcome, and we're very excited to have you here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Let's see. Okay. All right, good. All righty. I have sent this out, these 18 different ways that the universe is communicating with us, but I've never taught it. So I told some people here earlier that I am going to have to use some notes. I've sent it out a newsletter, but I've never taught it. So I'm thrilled to do this with you all, and I just love it. How I came up with these 18, let me share that first, is when I write a book or when I created this 18 pathway information, I really just notice what's going on. And I'll take a note. I have notes on, crazy little pieces of paper. I have notes on napkins in restaurants. I have all kinds of things. That's really how I write a book, but it's also how I came up with noticing, because all this is kind of like a summary of what I noticed over and over and over again for myself in my own life, but also for people that I know, for clients, for people in my courses and things like that. So that's really what the origin of these 18. There might be others, but this is what I noticed over a couple of years of really paying attention. That really this universe, this earth that we are on, is a living organism. And the universe is communicating, the cosmos is communicating with us constantly. But most people don't recognize it. Most people don't recognize. They might think, "Oh, that was weird," that I've noticed that a couple of times, and then they just kind of forget it or put it aside or blow it off. So I noticed that there are primary pathways. This is what I would call, there's 18 primary pathways that I noticed, that we are very, very interdimensional. We humans, it's not just the cosmos, we humans are interdimensional. So take a minute, if you would, and just notice, what does that mean to you to be interdimensional? Just kind of notice what pops. We were talking about how I always say, take the pop, because the pop coming in, for those of you who just joined us, when something pops into our awareness kind of out of nowhere, that is information coming to us. The split second pop after that is our thinking brain trying to go, what? Just trying to sort it out. So I always say, take that instant pop of awareness. So the first thing I want to talk about, and there will be 18 of these, and I'm going to stop after, I don't know, maybe the first 6 or so, and see if there's any questions that you have about these particular topics. So if you want to take notes, please do. But I started out by noticing that the first pathway would be our name. Now, usually well, I think always maybe, we are given a name at our birth. And I don't know how many people, and pay attention, make this more about you than me, how many people have you noticed that are uncomfortable with their name? Because their name is literally a frequency of information that goes through your body out into your energy field, out into the room and out into the universe. And women especially tend to change their names in most, well, I won't say most, but many cultures. They change their name. Now, because our name is a frequency of information, when we take on a different name when we get married, we've changed a lot more than just our last name. We have changed the electrical signal to others, the electrical signal to the world, the electrical signal to the universe, that it changes things. Now, I've known some people that change their own names purposefully when they're old enough to do that. In fact, I had a visitor from Canada, and she's 20 years old right now, and she just changed her first name. And I thought this is a great example. In fact, I just wrote it down before we started because I hadn't thought of it before. She changed her name from Lily to Jean. And so now think about this, and make this about you, but think about this first. Kind of get a sense of if you met someone named Lily, and then you met someone, that same person changed her name to Jean. See, and if you start to get more sensitive about these things, they feel very, very different. Now, that's an example of a first name being changed. And then another example would be changing our last name. And some people drop, especially, like some of these movie stars and stuff, they drop their full name and just pick one name. And they're known, I'm older, so I think of Cher. I have no idea what Cher's birth name was, the singer, but there is a good example. So think about names. Your name, make this about you. Does your name feel right? Did your name feel right when you changed it? When you got married, if you did get married. So just think about that. So I noticed that it's an energy signal. And so I made it number one, that our name is so personal and it sends a signal out into the universe. And so my guides brought that forward to my attention. So that's the first way. The second thing that I noticed is our environment. Now, if you would, make this about you. And if you would, just look around wherever you're at right now. It doesn't matter if you're not at home, you could be in a hotel room, you could be anywhere. Wherever you are located right now, take a moment and look around and sense and feel your environment. What you see and what you feel is there around you because you created that. You created that with your thoughts, with your emotions. And even if you're I know someone right now, a dear friend who's in a hotel room right now, and that she created that because she's in a hotel room to take a course in New York. So if you would, notice that what you see around you, you developed it, whether it belongs to you or whether you're in a hotel room or whether you're sitting in a lobby somewhere. You brought that to you in your life. So really notice that if you would. And then I have I think I have the greatest example of how powerful this is. One of my students, this happened a couple years ago, she said, Tina, I just didn't know if all this stuff was right that you're saying and what you're noticing stuff. She said, I don't know. I just wasn't sure about it. And she said, I was driving down the road and she said, I said to my divine and sacred guides, if all this is true, I just show me a pink truck. And I said, you said what? Show me a pink truck. What? And she sent me a photo, and she was driving on an interstate when she put that out to the universe. And what came up beside her was a big, I guess they call them panel trucks. And there was a panel truck, brilliant pink. She said, show me a pink vehicle. It was pink. It was driving faster than she was, so it drove up ahead and then moved over in front of her in her lane. And I'd have to see what it said. And guess what it said on the back of it? Now, this really happened. She took a photo of it, a couple photos, and sent them to me. It says, "We are here for you." Is that I have goosebumps telling you, and I've told that story lots of times. I have goosebumps again telling you this. I just think it's marvelous. I think it's amazing because, and she was new at this, working with her intuition and that, and she just didn't. She had a moment where she just thought, "Oh, this is a bunch of baloney," and there she was, and it's even on the back. We are here for you. So notice that in your life. Notice if something has happened in your life. Just take a second and see if anything pops in. I have another example. A friend of mine, he said, it's driving me crazy. And he said, I feel kind of nuts lately. And I said, what's going on? And he said, I am noticing, I am noticing antennas everywhere. He said, no matter where I look, there's antennas on cars. There's antenna along the road. There's antennas everywhere. And he said, I don't know what to make of this, what to make of this. And so I had him ask his guides, what is the message? See, there's a message. When we start noticing something, especially repeating, they're trying to get through to us, basically. The divine sacred, our guides, the universe is trying to communicate. Here again is that this is all about connecting with us in communication. And so I said that to him. And I said, well, what does antennas mean to you? And so he thought for a minute, and something immediately popped into his mind. And he said he realized it's about communication, receiving and sending, antennas, receiving and sending, kind of like cell phone towers do now, receiving and sending. And he said, I'm not communicating very, very good at all with someone who works for me in the company that they both work for. He was apparently maybe the boss or the supervisor. He said, where our communication is terrible, and he said, it is up to me to clear that. Now that's what he got from antennas popping up in his awareness. See, he was receiving a signal. So again, make this about you for a minute and just notice if you have been receiving signals. And this topic here, this pathway is the environment. If I can, I'll move on to the next one. This will be number 3. That the how do I say it? the weather outside, especially clouds. Clouds are one of the ways that symbolize, there's symbols in clouds oftentimes, not all the time, but many times. And it again is the cosmos sending signals, and it's up to us whether we receive them or not. And my example is, I cannot tell you how many people have sent the image of a cloud that they pulled over their car and got out of the car and took a photo or something like that, of absolute perfect shaped angels. I'm giving myself goosebumps. Perfectly shaped angels in the cloud. Now, and there's always a meaning to everything. Now, here's my crazy story. I'm in a lot of airplanes, and it wasn't even near Christmas. I think it was maybe the middle of the year. I'm in an airplane, I'm sitting by the window, and I looked out, and I thought, what am I seeing? It was clear as could possibly be. It looked like a photo practically, except it was made out of clouds. And it was Santa Claus sitting in a great big throne. I looked around to see if anybody else on this plane was looking out the window at Santa Claus in a big throne. And nobody was paying attention. They were all, had their headsets or their computers or something on. And I watched it, and the plane went by, and you know how fast planes are going. This Santa Claus in the chair was so massive that it took the plane a long time to pass by. I was in such shock. I do this for a living. I was still in shock. I was in such shock that I forgot to get out my phone and take a photo of it. Duh. So, but that also tells me it was really just for me. But then it became very, very meaningful, because in a lot of cultures, Santa Claus is a signal of receiving, giving, but also receiving. So giving and receiving, and it fit in. I was indeed. I received then right after that a precious, precious gift in my life. You can't make this stuff up. And those of you who have taken some of my other classes, I say that all the time, don't I? You can't make this stuff up, because it's so real and so precious, these moments that we have. And so that's my third pathway is clouds in the sky, angels, Santa Claus. I've perceived all kinds of things, and think about, what have you perceived in the clouds in the sky? Did you take it as a message? Did you take it as information just for you? The fourth pathway I want to bring up is dreams. Some of you have already figured out that there is a lot going on in our dreams. If one of the things that's going on is that we humans are very, very powerful, and we are able to astral project in our dreams. And one kind of neat story I thought I would share with you is that this woman got a hold of me, and she said, Tina, I've read your books, and I, took a class and things like that. But she said, I dreamed about you last night. And I said, you did? Well, what happened? And she said that she walked in, and I was up at a podium, she said, and I was giving a class. And she said, I walked in, and she said, Tina, you stopped talking. I thought, uh-oh. And I said, well, then what happened? And I got to see what I write here that she said. Um, she said, you stopped talking to this grade big class. You looked at me and said, don't ever be late again. Because she came in late after I was already started. And so I kind of chewed her out. And I was laughing so hard, and she was laughing too, because she said, oh, I'm late for everything. But she said, I won't be now because you were in my dream and you said, don't ever be late again. So I'm covered with goosebumps telling you that when I thought it was so fun, so much fun. I thought that was amazing. Um, Here's another example. I think kind of how I want to say this. That in my dreams, I will wake up in the morning and I will realize that I was teaching a class in another country. And I feel a little bit tired and stuff in the morning because I apparently have been working all night teaching classes. And now I want to give you, I tried to think of examples that would help show how truly real these pathways are of communication. That I'll wake up and I will know I just taught a class in Germany. I will know in my dreams, and that I've just taught one in India. I was in India multiple times in my dreams. And here's what happens after that. Usually, probably 3 or 4 days later, after I've had this dreaming I'm teaching in some location, I'm aware of the location. I will start getting 3 or 4 days later emails from people in those countries saying they wanted to connect with me. Back then, I was doing individual sessions. They want to know when my next class is, stuff like that. And they're from those countries that I just dreamed about. Now, think about all the aspects of that. That's not just my abilities. This is about all of us. This is about all of us. One thing I know is when I teach people how to do this, some of you know this, that we can astral project across time and space. So I am told by my divine sacreds that I'm astral projecting. So sometimes I'm teaching 24 hours a day, I'm telling you. But I just thought that was so precious. Those two stories, especially that woman said, I said that woman, don't be late again. Um, so that's the fourth way. The fourth thing is through our dreams, there's communication going on. There's interactions going on, not just with me, but with everybody. You all are doing it too. So again, just take a moment and notice your dreams. Notice what's happened in your dreams. Some of you might be realizing right now that in your dreams, your deceased loved ones have come to you too. I'm here to tell you that is truly happening. And please don't just say, oh, I just dreamed and, it was just a dream. But I have noticed as a medium over the years that the deceased people will tend to come to us in our dreams because they can't get through to us in our waking day. So if your loved ones or even a deceased person that you just, maybe the neighbor or somebody, come to you in your dreams, they are truly doing that, in my humble opinion. But they tend, what I've noticed again over the years, because I just study stuff all the time, I noticed that they'll usually only come to our dreams because they're not getting through to us during our waking time. So that's really important to notice that they are trying to get through to you during your awake time. And they finally will give up and they'll start coming through it in our dream time. So I have noticed that over the years. I'll mention two other pathways and then we'll stop for some questions. The TV and the internet. Now, who would think? There was a woman in Wales who emailed me one day, and she said she was on her son's computer. I had to write that. I wrote this down. What she said. She was randomly clicking on things. She said, and she was as low tech as I am. She was randomly clicking on things, and suddenly my photo, me, Tina, my photo popped onto the screen with the words medical intuition. So I began laughing like crazy, and she stated, now listen to this, she was not searching those words at all. She wasn't searching for me. She'd never heard of me. She didn't know what medical intuition was. And I was just laughing because she actually called me and told me about this. And she said she was on her son's computer too, which, is another level of disconnect. And there I was, and she said I had a big smile on my face. So she's took classes from me. In fact, she hosted me in Wales. So I taught medical intuition in Wales because of that. Now think about all the aspects that happened to make that happen, that I ended up in Wales. So the more you start to notice these the details of life, you will start noticing this type of thing. You'll start noticing these things. I want to talk about one more thing, and then we'll have some questions and hopefully answers here in just a little bit. People talk about deja vu frequently. In my humble opinion, deja vu is not your imagination, because a lot of people say, oh, I just dreamed that up. I had deja vu and I was, in this place or that place. That we're energy beings experiencing an energy world. We're not just this physical body that we are walking around in. We are energy. Our whole being, our whole aliveness is energy. And we're not trapped beneath our skin either. We're not. We're our soul. Actually, let me throw this in too. What I've noticed is people are always seeing auras or trying to learn to see auras. When what I have noticed about auras, that it's really our soul energy that is so big it can't be stuffed down underneath our skin. So those of you who have seen, flashes of aura or are readily seen auras, think about that it might be that you are actually perceiving that person's soul, their eternalness, the eternal soul that we are having this experience in right now. So, in deja vu, we have the ability to travel without our body. We're stretchy. Our aura is in our soul in my experience, is very stretchy. So we can stretch out if we choose to do that, which creates a deja vu experience. We have that ability in where our body is currently located, like right now, where are you physically located? But we can travel back in time and we can travel forward in time. We can travel up. Also, we can travel down. We can travel through all kinds of levels of life. The time is not linear. We humans, we attempt to control it in our minds, but what I've noticed is time is not linear at all. And sometimes it's not in our control, but there's a reason. If you have a deja vu moment, there's a number one, there's a reason. Now, can you think, just sit there for a moment and think about, have you had any ever a deja, what people call deja vu? Did you ever consider that wherever you were located or whatever you were doing in that moment of deja vu, that you were truly doing it? You were truly there. Because we're very, very, very flexible. There's much more to us than this human body and mind that we're lugging around with. So, deja vu was was the sixth one. So I thought, let's stop right there and see, because let me go back over. We talked about our names, the environment, and that's where I talked about the pink truck. The antennas, the man who realized he was seeing antennas because he wasn't communicating with kindness, he actually said with his coworker. So name, our environment, clouds in the sky, excuse me, dreams, the internet or TV, and deja vu. So tell me, does anybody have any question? And I'm not sure how Alan wants to do this, but
Well, I just gave everyone permission to unmute themselves. We will switch. I'll switch to a gallery view, and
yeah, I like that gallery view. Okay, do you have any thought or question? Yes, I see.
I have a question.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No, I can now.
Okay. I have a question about the names.
Mhm.
I was born with a name that my mom messed up spelling. And then when the teachers told her it was spelled like a man, she changed it with an E. She put down Cecil. And so when she enrolled me in school, they said, that's a man's name. You got to put an E to make it Cecile. So it was Cecile. And then when my mom moved back to San Diego, my grandmother enrolled us in school because my mom had work, and she changed it without telling me in the third grade to Cecilia. And so in front of the whole class,
Whoa.
I was corrected and made fun of by the nuns and the kids because they thought I was stupid and didn't know how to spell my own name. So that was my name, Cecilia, which I couldn't even say it
Wow.
correctly until I was 18. And then I changed it back to, it was supposed to be Cecile, but I had to pay money to put the E on the name.
Yeah, to make it legal, you mean?
Yeah, but it was Cecile while I lived in Los Angeles. And so that was that part of it. But the other part is I have a lot of nicknames. My mom's family called me Cookie. My siblings called me Sissy. My cousins and friends called me Cece. Boyfriends called me Sassy. My
Wow.
my husband calls me Chili and then sometimes Chili Bean. And then when he's yelling for me, he calls me C, like C, like that. So I have a lot of nicknames, but the main nickname is Cece, that I introduce myself to with like people I meet that are going to be like new friends or something.
That
Um,
is that is one of the most, I don't know that I've ever heard of someone having that many different names.
Very
That I,
confusing,
what so okay, now you sense confusion.
right?
Okay, and we probably don't have time to go through it, but I want you to notice what you feel about all of the, one at a time, all of those different names, which I've never heard a story like this before, and I thought I've heard about it, everything. And see, what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to give you a little bit of homework.
Okay,
You can not do it if you don't want
I'll do
to.
it. I need to know this.
Sit with each one of, and you named, I don't even know how many you named. Maybe somebody else was counting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
What?
I was to do. Yeah,
What?
go back to that bar. React where the heart is.
Well, I don't know how many, but here's what I want you to do is just sit with one at a time and don't rush it
Mhm.
and get the sense of a feeling of it, if you would.
I've
Of
done
each
that
one.
already. I have done that
Okay.
already.
What? What'd you
the
notice?
the name Cecile, I feel close to because that's
Raise
what my
hand.
mom wanted.
No, there.
Okay, somebody, we can hear somebody, so if you would mute. Okay,
Um,
go ahead.
but the name Cecilia, because I look Latin, people still call me that when they first meet me. I'll say, "Hi, my name is Cecile," and oh, Cecilia, and I'm like, "No, it's Cecile." I hate that name with a passion. I can't
Okay,
stand
wait. Which name do you hate with a passion? That's
Cecilia. Cecilia. And I think it's because of what happened with the Catholic school where my grandma didn't tell me she was, because she always
Mm.
wanted that name, but since I was a girl,
Yeah.
my grandmother and my dad left the hospital because they wanted a boy. But
Okay,
that's the name they wanted, Cecilia. Right.
we're going to have to go on here for someone else, but even though you said you've done that with all of these versions of your name,
Right.
do you know which one feels right to you and is really you, if any of them?
To be honest, I feel like a fraud with all of them now. I mean, I feel like a fraud. Like none of those are really mine because they were taken. Everybody keeps taking my name and doing what they want with it and applying it to me. So
It's going to, okay, I have to share with you what I'm getting is it's kind of like Lily changing her name to Jean. I thought the name Lily was beautiful. But it's kind of like that. It had deep meaning for her. So
Mhm.
I'm going to ask you not to do it now, but to ask the universe if you want, and you have to, don't do it now, but later in your private time, and tell them what is the truth of your true name.
Okay.
And I would also ask even before that is tell me or show me now. I ask people in the classes and stuff to always, if you're going to ask the universe or your guides, start out with tell me or show me now and use the word now all the time because they're airy fairy of a time. Tell me or show me now what is what is my exact name meant to be in this lifetime or something like that.
Boy.
See what you get. And I would ask a lot of questions, one question at a time, so that give them time to answer you, whether it's the universe or a guide or whatever is your belief. Give them a chance because there is there is a great, great learning about this for you.
Oh,
Okay. And I'm going to have to go on, we'll have to go on to other people, but there's a great learning for you here.
all right. Thank you.
Right.
Anybody
I-
else?
Yeah,
I see
I think
Mary Ann
Mary
has
Ann
her
was the
hand
next
raised.
one
You have to raise your hand, and
to
then
indicate.
On the
Mary Ann?
topic, okay, on the topic of dreams, can you comment on archetypal dreams? What are they trying to tell us?
Well, I don't know. First of all, what's an archetypal dream?
Now, some
Do you
powerful
mean?
symbolism in it. Like, I had this dream about you talking about the soul, and that on our outside was a like a membrane, but the soul interior was red. And I thought, well, this is to me like an archetypal dream. It's trying to tell me, what my body is
Well,
made up of.
Mhm. What your body is what?
Made up of.
Oh, made up of. Okay.
And how the
Okay.
soul connects with you were talking about the aura before. So
Mhm.
something that's, really beyond the normal. Oh, I dreamt that there were snakes around or something like that. Like this to me was an archetypal dream. It was trying to tell me something.
Then what you need to do is to really slow down, sit down, and ask the universe, I am ready to know exactly, use the word exactly. Tell me or show me now exactly the meaning of da
That
da
dream.
da. And those are keywords now. They're not just blah, blah, blah. They're keywords. Tell me or show me. So when you put that out there to the universe, you're saying, tell me in thoughts or show me in images. So it kind of narrows it down. Tell me or show me. And you have to use the word, everybody hear this part, use the word now, because the universe is kind of airy-fairy about time. And so I always throw in now almost in everything. Tell me or show me now exactly. Okay. So I hope that helps you. Bless your heart.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Who else? Anybody
I do
else?
have
Yeah,
another one. I think Michael Lane. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing
It's
the name right.
Michaeline.
Michael Lane. Okay.
Michaeline.
So my question is about dreams as well. I've
Mhm.
I've noticed I've been paying attention to my dreams and writing them down for years when I remember them. But here, I'll say in the last 6 months or so, I have realized that in my dreams, I'm not me. I'm someone else, to the point where last night, for instance, this one is fresh. I saw a man and a woman standing in front of me, and they were talking. I don't remember exactly what they were doing, and suddenly I was that woman.
Mm.
So it was very clearly not myself.
Yes.
What
But
is,
not your current, you're not your current self. Yeah. Go
yeah.
ahead.
And I'm just wondering, is it possible that I'm tapping into other people's lives?
Oh, absolutely. We are, I'm telling you, we're moving around. You know, my little example is I teach in India and I start getting emails from India. I teach in, where I don't know where else I've taught all over the world. And the people start emailing me. So this is very, very real. And what I want everybody to do is, do you see what I keep saying? Ask very specific questions. And take the plot of information.
Okay, right.
So you could be moving back in time. You could be astral projecting down the street. You could be receiving information about another life that you've had. You could be astral projecting into someone else's life. I mean, there's so many examples. There's so many options that might be going on. So that's why I say, please ask about that and notice who you're asking.
Yeah. I also want to say that I have been practicing for many months projecting back in time and forward.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Then it's happening now. It's happening.
Okay.
You're
That makes
doing
sense.
it. You're doing it. Yes.
Thank you.
But get more information. I'm going to ask everybody to get more in charge of what you're doing. Okay, I'm always chattering about that. Get in charge. Be more the director. Be more of the questioner about. But look at the topics that mostly come up are dreams and names so far. So that's amazing. How about one more, and then we'll have to get
Mark Mark has her hand raised.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Hi. Hi, actually, it's Dawn. So,
Look, that's Mark though.
yes, he's right here too.
Yes.
We met you at Omega last summer. Yes.
Yes. Thank
Um,
you.
so this happens, I wouldn't say frequently, but not infrequently. So I'll have a dream and then I'll have a second dream. And in my second dream, I'm telling people about my first dream.
Oh.
Is this all happening in one sleep time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're interconnecting and intermingling. And this is very real. We're very alive. We're doing all kinds of things in our dreams.
Mhm.
We're very, very active. That's why sometimes you wake up from sleeping all night and you're exhausted because we've been very busy. We've been very busy. But I don't think I answered your question. Say it. What is your
I'll have
question?
a dream and then I'll have a second dream. And the second dream is I'm telling people about my first dream.
Notice if the content that you're telling them is important.
Okay.
What I'm getting is important. So do you realize you're sharing? Are you teaching? Is it even a level of are you out there teaching? Or are you out there sharing, at least sharing information, if not teaching?
Mm.
See,
Okay.
that's some questions. I love that. I've not heard that either.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, good. Okay, let's go on. And then let's see, we still have an hour. So I want to go on with the other because, I've got 18, but I'll stop after a bit and we'll have another Q&A too. And then at the end, if we still have time, I want you to be able to ask some questions too at the end. So let's see here. My next pathway, now deja vu was number 6. If you're taking notes, you're kind of keeping track of this, is about deceased people. And as a medium, I've been interacting with deceased people that I can remember since I was 5 years old. But you know what? Our children are interacting. But you know what happens? The adults say, that didn't happen. You were dreaming. Oh, you're just making things up. A lot of children are talking about their past lives or acting out their past lives. So all kinds of stuff is going on. But anyway, deceased people. I do not have any special gifts. And apparently I'm a pretty good medium. I would say accurate. I like the word accurate, but you are too. Every single person on this talk together here tonight, we are all mediums. This is not a special gift, and yet, how many times have you heard mediums say that they are gifted and they have a special gift? I don't have any special gifts, believe me, but I love helping people realize that they are mediums because our soul is eternal. We're not just this current physical body. We can interact with other people because we are a spirit too, and we can interact, if you want, with people that are in spirit that are not lugging around a physical body. This is not some magic thing going on. To me, this is very, very common. And how many times, maybe when you all were children, or some of you were children, how many times did an adult tell you, you just dreamed it, you just made it up, stop doing it, it's not the truth, or all kinds of things I can think of. when in fact, little kids realize that they're spirit beings because they just came from spirit. If anything, they start to kind of forget. I've noticed this because I just started studying that little children around 6, 7 years old, they kind of begin to forget where they came from in spirit. They tend to forget that they would see and interact with spirit beings. One of my grandkids, when she was about, I think she's about 4, she's real talky though, and she kept talking about Bob. And so I said, well, who's Bob? And she said, well, Bob goes around with me. He walks around with me. He plays with me. And I said, well, tell me about Bob. And she said, he died in a car wreck in Florida. And she says to the family, we had never said the word Florida. I checked with everybody in the family, and nobody ever goes to even Florida. Nobody talked about Florida. We don't understand where, well, we do understand where. She just knew that he died in a car wreck in Florida, and he was her age. So they found each other, and he was with her for quite a while. Is how real this is. Deceased people will tend to come to us into our dreams. So think about your deceased relatives. They'll tend to come to us in our dreams. And if they do, here's one thing I've noticed over the years. It's because they couldn't get through to you during waking time. So if you have deceased people, deceased loved ones, that come to you only in your dreams, start to notice that. They tend to do that when they can't get through to us during our waking time. I just love to tell that story about when the little kids do this, because they just think it's normal. You know, I was driving down the street, and the granddaughter said, oh, Bobby's here and he's sitting next to me. And I said, well, good. Just asking what he's up to and what's he got to say. So I tried to normalize it, you know, for the grandkids. Be willing to talk to the deceased. And when you talk to them, make sure, and here's what people do. My living clients would say, I talk and talk and talk and talk to my deceased loved one, and you know, they never talk back. And I don't know if they're there or not. And I'll say this now, and make this about you, see if this helps you. Living people tend to talk and talk and talk and talk and talk to their loved ones. And I'll ask them, this is why I know, because I've asked a gajillion different people, do you stop talking and give the deceased person time to talk? Do you stop talking and allow the deceased person, to respond to you? So far, I can't think of one single person that says, yeah, I always stop and I hear them then. No, I never hear that. What they say is, no, I just keep talking and talking. You're right. I don't stop, and I don't let them receive. I don't let them say what they have to say. So I'm trying to normalize mediumship, because we're spirits and there are spirit people around us. And my hope upon hope upon hope is to remove every single bit of fear and worry about having a deceased person come to you. To me, it's extremely normal. But if you're afraid, then my greatest hope for all the things that I do is for you to realize I can do this. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'm a spirit talking to a spirit. I happen to be lugging around a physical body. So, up to now. So please be aware of this. So ask a question to the deceased, pause, and we were kidding around about this, but take the pop, and an image will, or even a tiny little movie will show in your mind's eye, or you will, a word will come in, or a short sentence will pop into your awareness. That's them answering you. Well, I love to talk about this, pausing to receive. They are so eager to communicate with us. And I hope to always, 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 always take the scare out of it for everybody, because they still have a lot to say. Sometimes they have a lot to say. You have a lot to say. And they usually communicate in two pathways. Like I said, and they'll send us an image of something or a thought. So they're either trying to send that to us or they're answering us. They're trying to answer us. So please try to normalize that and even play around with that if you would. Be the listener and not just the talker, because we're all kind of good talkers. But make sure if you're trying to communicate with someone that's crossed over, I call it crossed over into the light. If you're trying to communicate with them, please pause and allow yourself to receive. Don't just talk and talk and talk. That's the main problem that I've noticed pretty much with everybody about communicating with the deceased. So what was that? That was last year. That was the seventh. Yeah, that was the seventh pathway. Now, number 8 is what people call synchronicity. And so I thought, what the heck does that mean? I looked it up in the dictionary. And it says, where is it at here? It said, a remarkable occurrence of events with no deliberate cause, but significantly related. So it's a remarkable occurrence, a synchronicity of things coming together. I don't know how to say it, things coming together. It's a remarkable occurrence of events, in other words, things coming together with no deliberate cause for it to happen. No cause for it to happen. And, I love sharing with people, and some of you already know this, there's no coincidences. There's no accidents. And because the universe is very, very organized. The universe, the cosmos is very, very complicated. In fact, what I love to say is no matter what's going on Earth, I keep finding that the non-physical realms in the universe are much more complicated than what's going on in the physical world. I always find that there will be no end to us all learning about the non-physical realms, because there's just more and more and more and more. It's bigger and greater than us mere humans. Anyway, back to synchronicity. There's no accidents, no coincidences. The universe is organized, complicated, powerfully responsive to our thoughts and our emotions. So once again, synchronicity is about the cosmos responding to our thoughts, emotions. When we think and when we feel, we're sending signals out to the community or out to the whole world around us. The world around us then responds. And then we're surprised when it responds. We're surprised. We don't think it's real. We kind of blow it off. we do all kinds of stuff. When the universe does respond or does signal us, we kind of miss it sometimes. We just kind of miss it. So think about that. Think about that the synchronicity is perfectly timed. It's meaningful. It's a meaningful coming together of information. And I don't know, sit there for a moment and just notice if you've had some strange event that was just seemed like, oh, that was synchronicity. And just notice, see if you remember anything about that. What happened? I kind of noticed this. That I have a personal example. It's kind of like the woman who said, "If there are divine and sacred guides," that's really what she did say. If I have divine and sacred guides helping me in my life, show me a pink truck, because she thought, "Oh, it'll never happen. There's no such thing as pink truck." Well, this was years later. I was driving down the road, and I was actually running my toroidal field, which is just working with each chakra in the color that each chakra tends to be in. And when I got to the purple, the powerful, shade of purple here in our third eye, and I said to myself, I was just talking to myself, and I said, now I don't know if I'm working with the exact shade of purple that will be the most powerful. Well, so I'm driving down the road just thinking this, and I guess putting it out to the universe. I kid you not, I had a purple truck, panel truck, coming toward me. Now hers was coming around her, next to her, and then went in front of her. Mine was coming toward me. I looked up, I thought, no, because this was after the pink truck thing a few years. Here came a truck that was a brilliant violet color. You guys are all going to be looking for trucks now on the highway. A violet, beautiful, brilliant violet color. And it was the exact shade that I was working with for my chakra colors. You can't make this stuff up. I'm telling you, mine was coming towards me and hers was going around. Now, even that probably has meaning, and I didn't think about that until that it came towards me. So again, location, location, location. Notice where, because there's meaning in everything. First came from behind her, up beside her, and then just zoom. She said he just hit the gas and just zoomed up and then moved in front of her. Mine came toward me. So see, there's meaning in everything. There's meaning in everything. So anyway, you're all going to be looking for pink and purple trucks now on the highway, probably. But that'll be fun. That'll be okay. All right. So that was kind of my roundabout way of talking about synchronicity. Thoughts and emotions are signals out. We're communicating with the cosmos all the time. And my hope is you start receiving and learning and wisdom's coming to you that they've been trying to get through. Okay, so that was number 8, synchronicity. Number 9 would be just the nature around us, just nature. For example, I was in a woods, I was walking by myself. I was troubled about something. I don't even remember now what it was. And the woods was absolutely still. There wasn't anything moving, not a leaf, nothing. And I'm walking along and I ask a question. I put a question out to the universe and I could hear, oh, I'm giving myself goosebumps. I could hear from far away this big wind immediately started coming and the trees started moving and it just blew all the trees and it blew me, not over or anything, but it was so obvious response and it was so helpful for what I was struggling with at that time. I was walking in the woods by myself. Now, most people would say, oh, that was just a coincidence, didn't mean anything. It meant everything to me. It was a phenomenal signal just from the nature around us, just from nature. It responds to our thoughts, our questions. If you put out a question, my goodness, allow yourself to notice the immediate response around you. Because it will happen. It will happen. I had the greatest, okay, so number 10, that was nature around us, 9. But number 10, I thought, no, I want to narrow this down, especially to birds, because people have a lot of bird signals or signals coming through birds to us. So I decided to make birds a separate, their own category, I guess, besides the nature. So number 10 is birds. And a woman called, I got the greatest stories about these things, but I hope my stories really give information about what's going on. A friend of mine called, she was just panic stricken. She had just pulled into her driveway. She had a long driveway and her house, the peak of her house went across, like this. So she's driving up to her house towards the peak of her house and she slammed on the brakes. She had a long driveway. She slammed on her brakes and she sat there freaking out and counted 20 buzzards or vultures, but buzzards sitting on the peak of her house. It went from one end of the house to the other. And they were just sitting there. She freaked out. She was hyperventilating. She was panicking. And she called me and told me what was going on. And she said probably her energy of being freaked out, she said they started flying away. And bless her heart, here's what she got from that vultures mean there is going a death. It means death is what she said to me. She said, someone's going to die or I'm going to die. It's maybe I'm going to die, not me, but her. Maybe she herself is going to die because there's 20 vultures on her roof. Granted, that is very unusual, even for me, I think. That was very, very unusual. And think about it, wouldn't you agree? That would be very unusual to have 20. And they were there long enough that she counted them as she's calling me. She was counting them, and there were exactly 20. Exactly 20. So I asked her a couple of questions. And I said, now, if you really think about how vultures, in this example, how they live, because that's what we learn from nature, especially from animals and birds. I'm going to talk about animals next, but how they live. Now, if you think about it, vultures or buzzards, they do not cause death. They don't really mean death. What they do is they come after death to clean things up, to receive nourishment from whatever has died. So I pointed that out, that they are really the cleaners. They are really the cleaners or the cleansers after something has died. And so they don't cause a death. They come afterwards for that cleaning. And my friend, you have to read this because she declared, that makes so much sense. And she shared her story then with me about a long, painful relationship that just ended. Before the vultures showed up, the relationship had already ended, and it was very much, it was very violent. It was a lot of struggle. And then what I said to her, 20 vultures are also a personal symbol. Now think about the number of something. So there were 20 vultures, and I said to her, what does the number 20 signify to you? Because even there's a meaning in the 20 vultures. And she thought for a minute, but only for a minute, and she said the relationship that just ended, this is the 20th year. I'm giving myself goosebumps telling you these stories. But this one in particular, he said, oh my gosh. I said, you're having a cleansing. Even your house with all those vultures on top was a symbol to you of the cleansing that's going on, of the energy in your house, of that terrible relationship. They're giving you, the universe is giving you signals about it. That's probably one of the coolest stories that I have about birds. So birds would be number 10. Okay. The 11th thing I noticed were animals in general. So we did the nature in general. That was the trees and things like that, and the rush of wind and the birds. And now animals in general. People will often say to me, how on earth am I supposed to know the exact information I'm to get from a certain animal? Well, that's a good question. Here's what I would say, that you look at, so let's say you've got some different kind of animal in your backyard. That's one of my stories. The animal that you keep seeing. Now, that's another clue. An animal that you keep seeing. What we do with animals to notice what our message is that we're to receive is notice how the animal lives. Notice the qualities of the animal. This could be you keep seeing a spotted horse. I'm just making that up. You keep seeing spotted horses all over the place. Something like that. What are the natural, here's how you get your signal about why you're seeing a certain animal. Notice what their qualities are about. Notice the quality of the animal. What is their characteristics? How do they live? Do they hide? Are they passive? Do they fight a lot? Are they aggressive? Do they live in forms of a pack, multiple of them? Are they loners? Trying to think of some other things. What are they doing when you actually see them repeatedly? So when people say, how, well, I don't know what, this animal means. What am I supposed to get from that? How am I supposed to know that? Well, it's all these things. How do they live? Are they aggressive? Are they passive? Are they loners? Do they live in packs? It's everything that will tell you everything that you are to know something about yourself. I was sitting in now granted, I live in the country. I was sitting in my living room, and for some reason, I turned and looked out the side window of my house, which I never turn and look and see. Notice that I never turn and look out this window. For some reason, whatever I was doing, I turned and looked out the window, this over here to the side of my house, and there was a massive, I mean, the biggest one I've ever seen, coyote standing right there. I mean, he was big. And I watched him and noticed what they're doing, along with their characteristics and that kind of thing. I watched him and he leaped up and real stiff and put his front feet down on a mouse. And he got a mouse. There was a field out there, and he got the mouse from the field. So he received nourishment. Okay, so I had this big coyote out there receiving nourishment. It was very, very meaningful in my life right then. I think that's cool. Trying to think what else I could say about the animals. So notice, if you would, take a minute now. Oh, I've got one more thing to tell you. I was seeing cranes all over the place. I mean, they were whooping cranes mostly, but they were cranes. I was seeing them all over the place. I was in the city that's nearby, driving over a bridge, and a crane flew out from under the bridge and swooped over the hood of my car till about had a wreck. I was seeing them everywhere. And this is when I started to learn. This was my very first time that I thought, wait a minute, getting messages, I'm getting signals. It was like a aha. And it was so dramatic because every single day I would see 2 or 3 cranes out in the country, in the middle of the city. It was wild. As soon as I thought, well, now what do cranes do? How do they live? Cranes do not work hard. They stand in the water and they wait for the food, fish or frog or something, to come to them. They don't work hard. It was the greatest message for me because I was working very, very, very hard right then. And see that the message kept coming at me. The cranes are everywhere. It's crazy. And when I got the message, I thought, oh, okay, I got the message, universe. I didn't see a crane for months. Now apply all these situations to you. So let's stop for a minute again and just notice whatever you notice about you. Think back in your life, what has repeated like that over and over again with animals, birds, I know that I already talked about birds and now I was focusing on animals, but I do have another little bird story that's so precious that I'm a mental health counselor too. So a lot of my clients, when I was seeing individuals, were for traditional counseling. So I was sitting with this one woman and a cardinal. For those of you who are in other countries, I don't know if you have cardinals, but the boys are brilliant, brilliant, bright red. And this cardinal came to the window and was pecking on my office window. And I looked, and then I kept talking and she was talking. And the bird kept at it, just pecking, pecking, pecking. And I finally said, does a cardinal mean something deeply to you? She burst into tears and she said, my mother died recently and she loved cardinals. And see, she didn't put two and two together. It took me a minute and I said, your mother's signaling you through this cardinal. I'm getting covered with goosebumps telling you that. So I kind of backtracked the birds, but I know that we were on animals. Now the next one, number 12. Let's take a break then for more questions. So kind of get your questions thought about. So number 12 are accidents. There's a lot going on when someone has what we would call an accident that a person I knew, she frequently was commenting about her physical problems, and her physical problems were a surprise to her. She had a series of medical issues that were bothering her. She had two surgeries and talked about that. So she was off work for a while. When she was the day she was to go back to work, she got into a terrible accident on the way to work, and her car was totaled, and she had a concussion, was very injured. So do you see, she'd been off work. She didn't want to go back to work. That was key to this story, and got in a terrible accident. Thank goodness the other person wasn't hurt. But she was. And she kept saying, I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this coming. And so it had a lot to do how our daily thoughts, our daily emotions are constantly sending very powerful signals out to the universe. She didn't want to go back to this particular job. She'd been off for quite a while with 2 knee surgeries, I think it was, as I recall, and then had a car wreck on her way to work. So look at all the signals she was getting, that also the universe has to respond to whatever we're feeling. So see, she had all these feelings rumbling inside of her. She didn't want to go back to this job. And on her way to the first day of her work, she was in a terrible crash and was in the hospital. So the universe has to respond to what we're thinking and feeling. And I thought, well, was the best example that I can come up with. So the cosmos is structured to respond to us too. By matching our signals. So it almost seems like it has to do that. It has to match whatever we're putting out in our thoughts and emotions. The universe has to match it. So I would ask you to be careful with thoughts and emotions, because the more positive we are, the more positivity and positive things will come to us. the more agitated or sad or don't want to go to work thoughts, the universe responds. So it's set up that way. It has to do that with tremendous emotions. When our emotions are rumbling and churning, then with a great upheaval of emotion, the universe has to match that. If we're in peace, if we are meditating, if we are deciding to live with love, the universe has to match that as well. So that's pretty cool. So that was number 12. And so we have a few more to go to 18. So let's stop and talk about that. Tell me your thoughts about, let me see what we did here. Hang on a minute. So we've talked about deceased people, synchronicity, the nature around us, birds and animals, and accidents. Birds, animals, and accidents. So, something about those particular thoughts. What do you notice? I see Linda.
Yeah, I have a story.
Okay.
Okay, so I taught English.
Doesn't have to be pretty short. Short.
Yes. Animals, information from animals worked into my curriculum when I was teaching English. One of my students' favorite things would be I would have them, because I will ground them so that we could start the class and they would feel relaxed, create a meadow, perfect day. There's woods at the other side of the meadow. Watch as an animal comes across the meadow, comes close. It has a message for you. Listen, you will hear it or you will know. Then thank the animal. It walks past across back into the woods. And so 2 kids said to me, Mr. Leo, can I tell you about the animal that I saw? She explained her pet dog had died in the spring. When she got home from school, she wanted to do her homework. So she saved her dog out. We'll play later. And then her dog died. She said, Mr. Leo, yesterday in the meadow, my pet came to me and it said, meet me in your dreams tonight. So last night, Mr. Leo, yes, I dreamt of my dog and we played in the sunshine and now it's okay. Yeah. So
now they really did that. The little child and the dog,
Yeah.
they really did that. And look at the peace that you facilitated for them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other
Yeah.
stories, but I used Ted Andrews when I would have it in
Yes.
the room when they wanted to know more about it. So anyway, that was very successful, and the kids loved that.
They love it. They love it because kids can go there. They allow it to be real. And it's the adults that say, that didn't happen, stop it. And no, it didn't happen. My cousin had a little boy and he was obsessed with he wouldn't play with anything else, little army guys. And, and he told me, he died in a plane crash when he was in the military in a past life. And, lots of people don't believe that the children are this aware.
Right.
That it's real. Yeah.
Right.
So that's a beautiful story. Thank you.
You're welcome. And these were 15-year-olds. They were.
Oh,
And
even better.
another-
That's even better.
Another girl saw a deer and she said, the deer said to me, Mr. Leo, can I tell you that her mama died 2 years earlier? The deer is telling me my mom is fine and she loves me.
Oh,
Anyway, now I'm done.
Okay, and we have Yolanda has her hand up.
Hi.
what?
Can you
Who's
see me
talking?
okay? Yolanda?
Okay. Yolanda?
Yeah, can you see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We can hear you and see you. You're
You
up in the
can?
upper corner on my computer.
Perfect.
Go for it. What do you have?
I actually have a question about synchronicity. And I've had a couple instances where synchronistic things have happened, and I've taken it as a sign, as basically a green light to move ahead on a particular thing. And when you were talking about the synchronicity, I was reminded in two separate instances, I moved ahead on a particular thing, and in both cases, the things blew up and did not work out well at all. So it's made me a little bit gun shy about trusting it.
Now, look at the word that you just used.
Gun
First
shy
of
or
all,
which one?
gun shy
Yeah,
is the one that stuck out to me.
yeah.
Is, well, notice that emotion that you just expressed with those words.
Hmm.
Notice what led up to that, because I'm not real sure. You don't need to go into it though. So I would say, did you really get the truth of the synchronicity, the truth of what was happening? And I would say maybe you didn't quite get the truth of that at the time. See if
Like,
that, see if that
didn't really
fits.
understand. Like I made an assumption without really sitting with it and feeling into it to make sure that this actually felt
Mhm,
aligned.
mhm. Yes, yes. Oh, you put it very well. You put it better than I could have.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, interesting, because in this particular category of things, we're 0 for 4
I don't
in
think that's
total.
good, is it?
What's that?
Yeah, I don't think that's good. 0 for 4. I'm pretty
No,
sure that means it's not
no.
good. Okay. All right. So you're not getting the depth of the signal coming to you.
Okay.
And for you to say it, what you just said, something about blew up like a gun. Well, look at that's not like a cowabunga stop. That would be a signal to me anyway, if I heard that or said that. It means stop and notice in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good,
Thank
good,
you.
good. Thank
Good
you.
opportunity. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
I believe Cecile Childs.
Cecile?
Hi,
Okay, all righty.
I have a question. I've been
Yes.
seeing a, a bird that keeps landing on the fence right outside my big windows in the living room. But he turns around to face me and then he just stares at me. And he has these bright colors on his torso. It's not a big bird, and I don't know birds except for crows sometimes like to talk to me. But I don't know what it means. I just go back and forth with them. But I mean, this bird I seen at my workplace down the street. Again, it was the same style of bird I've never seen before. It just turns and looks at me and it's through the glass. So I don't know what that would mean though.
Well, it's number one, it keeps repeating. Number two, it's a bird. Birds are always considered. I used to live and work on the Navajo reservation in New Mexico. You know, birds are messengers. So it has a message for you. And you know what I would do? I would say, just talk to the bird, tell me or show me now exactly what I'm to learn from you. That's what my bunch is saying.
Okay.
Tell me and show me now. Exactly. I use those words all the time. What I'm to know from you now.
Okay. All right.
Take the pop. Take the pop then.
Thank you.
Especially, and you might wait till, because it'll come back. So you might
Yeah,
wait and do it
save
when
it.
it comes back. Yeah.
I have a question about the crows. Why do you think the crows, it almost seems like they jump because there's a lot out front, but it seems like they land real close to the window. I always have the windows and doors open, like they're screaming inside my house. And I'm
You're
wondering,
getting all kinds of signals.
but I don't understand what they're trying to say. I mean, I know they're trying to
It's-
talk. I just don't know what.
Yes. Well, it's the same with the crows as it is with that colored bird that you don't know about, is to ask that question. And so see what's happening is birds are getting louder and gathering more. So you're really, really, really getting a signal from the universe that the birds are trying to give to you. Because look at your bird examples, and they're getting louder and closer to your front door.
Yeah.
So you better ask them, pause, take the pop.
All right,
You're
thank
gonna
you.
have, you'll have 20 buzzards on your roof too.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
All righty, all righty. Who else? Anybody else? Alan, do you see
I'm
anybody?
not seeing anybody right now. If someone else,
Okay. No? Okay. So let's go on because we're running out of time here. Okay. Accidents was number 12. Number 13 is numbers. Are numbers coming to you? There's great meaning in numbers because, when we say a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, that each one is a symbol. Each one has great meaning. In fact, there are people who make their living with doing numerology because the numbers are everywhere. Each number and each combination of numbers also is a way the universe is signaling to us. Everything is information, just everything. I can't say it more, but especially, do you have any number or series of numbers that are appearing to you frequently, especially on our digital clock? I'm pointing at my clock. The digital clocks will come up. License plates. Lots of people tell me that they get information from license plates on cars or trucks in front of them. Billboards, receipt at a restaurant. They're vibrating, but especially when you see one number or a series of numbers, there's great meaning. I'm seeing a series of numbers like crazy right now, and it always tells me it's about balance, bringing my life into more of a balance. And that's, I'll just share that with you. It's the personal message that I'm getting now. So think about numbers. What have you noticed? Just think about that. Numbers, I'm hearing more about numbers. Numbers are coming through into the earth plane very strongly right now. So what are you noticing? We don't have time to talk about that right at the moment, but notice what numbers stick in your mind or keep showing up. Okay, number 14, I began noticing, I always notice first with my own life, of course, but and then other people's lives, repetitive life patterns. So a pattern in your life that keeps repeating. Now, the examples of that are kind of non-countable, but what pattern do you have in your life that keeps repeating? I want you to think about it first before I chatter on about it. You notice patterns that keep repeating are usually kind of at the both ends of the spectrum. They can be very positive, a pattern that keeps repeating, or it can be very negative, and a pattern that keeps repeating. For some reason, I haven't noticed really any mediocre or any medium things. Tends to be more emotional, I guess I would say. So what pattern or theme do you have, or someone has? I guess an example would be, this is popping in my head, um, I keep receiving money and then I lose it somehow. Or I keep losing my billfold. I'm just making these up right now. I keep losing my billfold. I keep losing track of my purse. Any kind of pattern that keeps repeating is a signal in your life. Now these patterns tend to be very, very positive or very, very negative. And it's really what I've noticed. It's the universe developing a deeper awareness for our soul's mission. It has a lot to do when there's a repetitive pattern. I'll just notice it tends to be something bigger in our life, something important in our life. It's not just a signal, and every time it happens, now think about this. Let's just say, oh, I keep losing my billfold. Well, there's probably an issue about money. I'm just making this up right now. But every time it happens, now this is the key part of this. Every time a pattern repeats, it is a moment for us to really acknowledge, if it's a positive pattern, to really acknowledge and receive the goodness. Stop everything, acknowledge the positive pattern, and receive the goodness. If it tends to be, oh, I keep losing my billfold, then there's a loss of money. There's a loss of value. Something like that. But so if it's a negative pattern that keeps repeating, the universe is going, and they're saying, here's another chance, another opportunity for you to learn right then and there. And when we learn the deeper meaning, I've had this happen in my life, when we get the deeper meaning, especially that negative repeating pattern, it drops away because we've learned from it. It's another pathway that the universe is communicating with us. And what I've noticed is if we keep ignoring the situation, especially I'm talking about life patterns, if we keep ignoring them, they tend to get more severe or stronger or more negative, because the universe is trying to get through to us. Once you get the aha and you change something, it will fall away. In fact, I love this. I could go on and on and on and on. It happens when we come through from a past life. If we did each past life, we did the same negative pattern over and over again. Oh, people are waving at me. So this is really making sense to people, especially in past lives. If we make the same mistake, we'll come back into this life and we'll have a similar situation. Granted, it might be a different, century in time, but there it is again. And it will be there until we learn from it. So every time, if you notice it, I'll take it now for, oh no, I got, cursed or something. No, just take it as, wait a minute, I need to learn something here. And when you do that, the negative pattern will fall away. I love that stuff. Okay, number 15. Boy, we are running out of time. I better speed it up here. Number 15 is meditation. I thought, well, I want to notice and talk about meditation. A woman, let's see, what was it? Meditation. a mentoring student that I had told me that she was in this deep meditation. This cracks me up, actually. And she said, out of nowhere, even though she was in deep meditation, pay attention to that. She said a picture of a book, the front cover of a book, just popped into her awareness. And she really looked at the book and looked it over and saw the name of the author on the book. You can't make this stuff up. She looked it up and it was one of my books. And so she reached out, emailed me about it, and told me what happened. And she became a student. So pay attention to what pops in if you are meditators. Like I go to a group meditation on Tuesday evenings. And, if there is something like that happens, it's a signal for you. So when we get quiet enough, oftentimes the universe takes that opportunity to give a directive to us. I just think that's precious. So sometimes we just can't get that stillness. I'm pretty good at meditating, but sometimes you just can't get that stillness. So notice what pops in. It's something for you to know or to do or something. And it's not going to happen every time, thank goodness, but notice if it does. Okay, photos. I've got photos would be number 16. And this is another pathway that I've noticed that the universe or spirit or our guides come through to us that I have 5 grandkids, and when they were little, they're not so little now, I'd give them cheap cameras. You have to give them cheap cameras. That's the key to that. Not your phone or anything. Give them cheap cameras, and I would say, let's go outside at night and just take photos, and let's call in the fairies, and let's just take photos. And just take photos in the dark. And so, they loved it. So they were out there with these little cheap cameras, just taking photos all over the place. They'll say, well, now where do I take photos? And I'll say, well, just up in the air, down the ground, over in the bush. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I kid you not. I have phenomenal photos from them of fairies that I didn't see, and they didn't either, with their eyes open. In the dark there, but with their eyes open, they didn't see it. And there's a photo will show something of the non-physical world. I don't know if it's kids draw fairies because apparently the fairies just love them. Now they'll go home, right? And so I'll go out at night and I all by myself take some photos and everything. I don't get anything. If you take a kid out with you at night, have them take the photos, it's gonna be amazing, amazing. So the cameras or photos, you'll get orbs too, and I have orbs with faces in them. So do the grandkids. So be aware that apparently they're using cameras to reach out to us. That's what I get from this, is to reach out from this. That they're using that. They're using the internet. They're using the TV to try to communicate. Because, my whole talk tonight's about communicating. And so if you have, fairies love little kids a lot more than they do adults. So take little kids outside at night in the dark and give them a camera. So take a picture of the dark and you'll be amazed. It's amazing. But there they are. The fairies are there with us now. Okay, just a real quickie. Music. Number 17 is music. People will tell me, oh, I get music stuck in my head all the time. What does that mean? What do I do with that? And notice this is, and I said this to them, I said, they'll say, well, it was a song titled this, and this such and such a person sang that song all the time. Well, what really gets stuck in our mind is a little, and that we go and we hear it over and over and over again. Notice that it's always just a little section of the music that comes in. Now, this is another way the universe is trying to communicate with us, is it will not be the whole song, usually, almost never. It's the one section of lyrics that gets stuck in our mind, and it plays over and over and over again. Does that happen to all of you or some of you? Notice what the lyrics are that repeats in your mind. First of all, we have to start noticing it's usually not the whole song. It's a little section of the song, and it's usually the lyrics, the words, and lots of people, there might be lots of stories about this. That is a powerful way that they're trying to communicate with us, is through music. And when I tell people, it's not the whole song, isn't there a lyric, just one that keeps repeating? And people go, yes, you're right, it's not the whole song. Then what was the lyrics, and how has it touched your life? What are you to know about those lyrics? Okay, so I'm trying to zip along here. Number 18, finally. I thought I'd name this just living people, children, and adults. Living people are often messengers. Sometimes I have had people, and maybe you have too, in the line of the grocery store, and I'm feeling terrible about something, and they say one little sentence to me, and it's a gift of information from the universe. You could be standing in a bus stop waiting for a bus, and somebody says the most beautiful statement to you, and it's a healing to you, and the stranger walks away after that. We don't know what we say to people that we think it's just a common everyday something or other, and we've brought a healing to another person. So the universe even uses live individuals like us to just say something that we think is just everyday stuff, and then we walk away, and the person goes, oh. I just love that. It's a profound wisdom. We think we're just, making a statement, and then we leave, and we've said something profound for them. I have all kinds of, stories about that. And it's just beautiful. That my 16-year-old granddaughter, I'll end with this, with living people. She shared an experience she had. She had worked in a small sandwich store, sandwich shop, and because she's 16, and she said this. I'm quoting her here, and she said, "Grandma, one of my customers told me that I have the Holy Spirit in me. I think that's pretty cool. She's an older lady with black hair and has tons of crosses on her clothes and jewelry. She actually came in almost exactly 1 year ago and was dancing in the lobby to one of my favorite songs." Dance. So she came in almost a year ago too, and was dancing in the lobby to one of my favorite songs and smiling at me the whole time. I told 2 other people that I work with that she's one of my guardian angels who has come to visit me. That's a 16-year-old saying that. Last year, and then she goes on, last year she came in again. I literally could not stop crying because her presence was so comforting. She really doesn't seem human. She just seems like a figure made of white light. No matter what age they are, listen to the children. So, whew. I kind of lost track of what I was doing here. So what do we do? So we start out with this section, numbers, repetitive life patterns, things coming to us in meditation, take photos. The universe is trying to communicate often through photos. A person I know in New Zealand she and her sister took some photos. They're just sitting around the house, took photos. There were orbs everywhere with faces in them. And she said that to me. That was years ago. That just popped in my head. So meditation, photos, music, and listen to the children. All righty. So how about questions, thoughts about this last section or any of it? Please
Yeah, we have
share.
Diane waiting for you here.
Good, Diane.
Hi, Tina. My question is about the numbers, and I see a lot recurring numbers, on the clock, like 1111, 222, 333, or 12. It's always, and I sort of have known, there must be some message from the universe. And it's like, but what? I don't know what the numbers mean. I don't know why I'm seeing repetitive numbers, and I just wondered if you might be able to give some.
First of all, numerology goes in very, very deep. You can Google that, but think about the repetitive pattern, and it happens. Notice when it happens. Is it a certain time of the day that you've noticed it, or is it just all throughout the day? And notice the balance in your example, notice the balance of that. And many of you know the 1111 is a signal of the gateway to the heavens, the gateway to the cosmos is a very common thought about 1111. So you're getting really strong signals. So you could also look it up in numerology too, and they'll give you some examples too. But you're getting, and you could, I just received 333. Tell me or show me now exactly the meaning.
Okay.
Pause, take the call. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm getting a similar pattern. And when I did that, I said, tell me, show me the meaning. And I'm coming into balance. So, and I'm getting a different series of numbers, but that's what they shared with me. I'm coming into a balance, and I know what that means. So, all righty.
Thank
Who
you.
else? You're welcome.
We have a
We've
hand
got
up with
Cecilia.
Cecile.
Hi,
Okay. Hi. Yes.
I have a question. Is there any way childhood trauma or physical stuff from surgery could block hearing from spirit guides or any kind of signals? Because I have
surgeries, during surgeries,
no,
or
I have metal.
sense of surgery.
Well, no, I've never heard anything, and I've tried for 6 years. I've only heard it one time, a voice, but I haven't since. I have metal in my head, and then I have a lot of childhood trauma, and I have autoimmunes from that. And I'm not hoping for a silver bullet. I'm working on it. I just have not been able to hear anything, even though I still talk out loud to them before I go to bed.
Okay. Now, do you hear yourself saying you talk to them, and you're wondering what things mean, but I don't hear that you're actually putting it into a tell me or show me now. Okay, and then tell me or show me now, like how would you end that question right there? What pops into your head?
Uh,
Tell me
what
or
do I
show
want?
me.
Tell me or show me how I need to, I thought I was doing, but tell me or show me how, what my next step is to heal my body.
Okay, it's tell me or show me now, not how, but now. Because you have to say they're airy-fairy about time. I'm telling you, because they got, eternity. And we want it now here on the earth, or we need it now here on the. So use the word now all the
Okay.
time. Tell me or show me now. So what I hear is you wonder a lot, but I don't hear that you're asking lots of detailed questions. So, that's the other thing. Let me share this. Most people think we just get one big question to the universe. And I'm going to, please hear this, create for your own life or for whatever's going on, lots of short to the point questions. Ask one question at a time, pause and take whatever jumps into your mind. Now, what you didn't describe either is you will get words or a phrase or a sentence in your mind or a little picture or a little movie. So I don't hear that you are letting yourself receive. It doesn't matter. You have metal in your head. That does not matter.
In trauma,
But if you think it matters, it matters. See, you
Right.
think. See?
No, I don't.
Does that make sense?
It does. And
Okay.
I'm believing that anything's possible. I just, I guess since it's going on 6 years now since all this has happened. And I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall sometimes, that's all.
Okay. Listen to the words that you've said, and maybe since this is I think it's recorded. Maybe since this is recorded, go back or listen to it all, but especially go to the end here where you said that, and you will hear yourself. You are convinced of what you're convinced of, and that is getting in the way for you receiving. So you think this is getting in the way. What else? What else?
I
is
wasn't
getting
sure
in the
about
way?
that one. I was
Yeah.
thinking that maybe I just don't have the same gifts as
Yes, you do. It doesn't, yes, you do. That's my whole point of this whole talk tonight is we are all have the same capabilities. Doesn't matter what's going on.
Okay.
Doesn't matter about metal in your head. Does not matter, but it matters if you think it does. So I want you to adjust your thoughts about that, please.
Okay. Thank
Okay?
you.
All right. Okay. Who else? Are you worn
I've
out?
not seen anybody else right.
They're emotionally unavailable for everyone but theirs.
Whoops, I hear somebody.
They are out eating a pound of beef.
Maybe that's a background
That's
noise, I
somebody.
believe.
Oh, okay. All right. All
Any
right.
other questions
Well-
from anyone?
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much. I hope that this helped you out. Go out and I see somebody clapping for me. Bless your heart up there in the corner. Thank you so much. I don't know what else to say except my website is tinazion.com, so it's easy to find me. And my latest book, if I can share that, my latest book is up for an award. And if I may, if you don't want me to, please let them know. So, because I won't bother you then, let them know, and they will tell me if you don't want me to send you an email. Okay. But I would love to have you read the book or vote for me. So thank you very much. So bless your heart. I hope this helped you. Please notice everything. Notice everything from now on. Everything has meaning.
And I'd just like to mention, Tina spoke at our conference. If anyone didn't make it to the conference, you can buy the recorded package on our website at thecopticcenter.org. And then Tina, what we will do is if you send me something or send it to Darcy and she can get it to me. We can send it to our entire mailing list for
Yes.
the voting.
Yeah. Thank you
So
so
we
much.
certainly want to support
Thank
you
you
and
so
your
much.
work because
Oh,
we
thank
love you.
you. Much-
Thank you so much.
Alan, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for being there. My goodness.
Yes. All right.
Um,
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Off
you.
you go.
Thank you for all your beautiful energy, and thank you, Tina. It was a wonderful evening. I learned a lot myself. I really enjoyed it. So,
Alan, thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you.
okay. Good night, everyone.
Off
Bye.
you go into your lives. Notice it in a completely different way.
Thank you.